Okay, good afternoon. Um, Thank you, Luca Molinari, Simona Finessi, for the invitation. Thank you to platform, and of course, thank you to Cristina for his patience and kind attendance. Um, when we were talking about the topic of this edition, the New Together, and we thought perhaps the construction that best fits with the idea of together in architecture perhaps is the public space. A construction that exceeds what is physical and includes social construction, cultural construction, even explains how the cities eat or how the cities relate each other. And nowadays, as Europeans, we are proud of our public space, but we think this public space is threatened for decades, and we think it needs to be cultivated in terms of taking care of this public space, of being a really place of social relationship from people from different origins. So we think it's important that this public space can build a sense of belonging for the citizens that share this same space. No? It's for this reason that answering the new together is for us, the streets will be ours again. We as un parell d'arquitectes, with Guillem Moliner and also Claudia Calvet and Xavi Rodeja, designed this LAM that explains our approach to public space. It's not, most of our projects are not an integral refurbishment, are punctual interventions that acting with a catalog of elements or changing one use can catalyze a bigger transformation of the space or build another atmosphere. This was a kind of fountain in the outskirts of the town of Olot, close to Barcelona, is where we work. And it was an abandoned place where in the middle 20th century was the most important public space in the outskirts of the town. No? And now it was abandoned, and this kind of large lamp reminds these golden ages and invites the citizens to reuse it. Now we will talk today about Cansau, a scenery, emergency scenery. That is the project that is exhibited here. This is a quite strange project. This is the old town of Olot. It has two parts, and just this square is in the middle. The articulation point between the two parts of the old town is in the middle between the volcano and the river, and it's at one side of the church of the patron saint of the town, called Santa Maria del Tura. This plot was affected by a route alignment, so the town hall bought the house and demolished. In fact, it's a plot to be built, but it's too small to fit there some dwellings, so they demolished and remained like this, with these 4 buttresses and the fences and the party wall, anything else. Then we were commissioned by the city council to think a pavement for this, let's say, a square, and think some provisional urban furniture. And we thought, well, really, if we change the pavement, will be able to get in a square instead of this urban void? And we thought, well, perhaps we have to do a more cheap pavement and use this money to build a kind of facade. And we also recovered the money for an ongoing contract for a metal cladding sheet that was prepared. So, in thinking about this, we were convinced that in dense city, facades are completely responsible for shaping the public space. No? In fact, the facades are more important than what happens in the pavement. when it's full of people, you don't know how is this pavement. And even more here that the facades have activity and have public activity, because instead in San Ferminis they rent the balconies for people to see the bull races. Obviously, Louis Kahn in this conference in Pennsylvania in 1971 remind us the importance of the facades to define this public space. No? The street is a room by agreement, a community room, the walls of which belong to the donors. So we decided to, with the same money of having a pavimentation and this metal cladding, define a facade that follows what exists in the place, the 4 buttresses, like drawing, this kind of drawings for the kids that you have several points numerated and you follow the points and appears say an elephant or an animal. No, we were following the existing points to define this kind of porous and thick facade that can transform this space or this urban void into a square. We were interested that in every intervention that the new things consider the city or the town as a place that an accumulative place where all the stratas are joined together in a new object or a new building. So you can recognize all the things that has happened in this space, even they are nice or they are ugly, let's say. This intervention is related to the femoral chapels that were installed in the nearby, in the city center, or this kind of shop windows made by the decorators related to the School of Arts that perhaps are more close to the pastry wall than architecture, but work with this thickness of the wall. So with one material, basically with hollow brick, we built this thick facade that we thought hollow brick can solve obviously the walls and even the walls. So with one material we can have 2 structural solutions, and we only used the steel for reinforcing some parts. And then the visual artist Kim Dom work in the niches with these printed glass panels that were the final of a research for the artisans and the shopkeepers that had work in this part of the town, designing tiles, designing fabrics, or designing artisanal things, and then he translated these designs to these glass panels that are in a frontal part of the party wall, the existing party wall that reveals the trusses of the ancient domestic inhabitants or spaces that were behind. Even though the light or the illumination is designed in order to give this depth in a thin facade and act all the construction as a lamp. And now, surprises of what happens in a town. No? They demolish this building. Now it has appeared a facade, and now this church that was between narrow streets has now gained a square that faces the ancient door of the Romanesque temple. Few days after finalizing the work, few associations appropriated this space as their public space to celebrate dinners and concerts. It's kind of neutral space. It's not predetermined what you can do in there. But also we think there is another kind of mental appropriation depending on what everyone takes with their back suite. This is, for example, these are images catch from Instagram. We don't know who is Josep Fajula, but we know, looking Instagram, he's a painter, an old person who paints traditional images from a town. For example, here, no sé, Piazza San Marco and Ponte Vecchio, no? And he suddenly has incorporated this image to his imagination of the traditional town. But then, things like that, with that girl or virgin smoking, that could be a cover for a Rosalia album, that gives another image for this. And then I will leave with a short video that explains Cansau and in a context of a decrepit urban city center.